By the way, I was watching Trump come out of court yesterday, and one of the people he read off as being, he said Turley, he said McCarthy, and he said Mike Davis. So you got into his atmosphere there on the way out of court. Here's my question. I'm hearing pretty good sources saying that next week this case is going to wrap, maybe even early part of next week.
Well, I think the American people are waking up to the fact that this is a dog of a case. There's no case here. It's not a crime for a businessman to settle a nuisance claim, and it's not a crime to have non-disclosure or confidentiality agreements with nuisance claim settlements. I've been a lawyer for nearly 20 years. I've settled these nuisance claims routinely. Apparently, I've been committing a felony along with many other lawyers across America. This is obviously a political hit against President Trump. They have not even told President Trump what the legal allegations are in his case. This is blatant lawfare and election interference. It's unconstitutional, and frankly, it's part of the Democrats' criminal conspiracy against President Trump.
Well, take a listen to Larry O'Donnell over at MSNBC saying, hey, you Republicans, well, you get to lie about this, and also claiming Judge Merchant is a fair judge. Listen.
So one of the great tragedies of this trial not being televised is that they get to go out there and lie about how this trial is going, because none of them have ever in their lives seen, and they never will see, a more fair judge than Judge Merchant. And any televised version of this trial would prove that every minute of the trial.
Good Lord, Mike Davis. I know Larry O'Donnell was there, but I mean, you want to talk about lying, you take it away from there. Judge Merchant's fair?
Judge Merchant is a corrupt judge. He's a Democrat operative in a robe. He donated to Biden. He donated to another anti-Trump cause. He was just admonished by the New York Judicial Council today for those donations. More problematic for him, his adult daughter, Lauren Merchant, is raising millions of dollars off of this unprecedented criminal prosecution over which her father is presiding, requiring his recusal under New York statute. That's not just crazy Mike Davis saying that. That is a former federal Clinton judge from New York, went on Caitlin Collins' show on April 5th on CNN and said this. This judge has refused to recuse. Instead, he retaliated against Trump with this unconstitutional gag order against him. You can't get more corrupt and biased than Juan Merchant.
And so I would say, I'm not a lawyer here, but I would say even if Trump does get convicted here, goes to the appellate division, I think if the appellate court overturns it, I think they're going to overturn it because of Judge Merchant's conflicts, even more so than anything that went on in testimony. About, was that fair? Is that an optional assessment, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what a reasonable judge would do, but I think you're giving way too much credit to these Democrat operatives in this New York judicial system. They have allowed this unconstitutional gag order on President Trump. They've allowed these unconstitutionally punitive fines against President Trump, unconstitutional bond against President Trump. This is a corrupt system in New York, and the Supreme Court of the United States is going to have to step in and reverse all this. In the meantime, the American people are going to have to decide on November 5th, 2024, whether they get to pick the next president or these Democrat prosecutors and Democrat judges and Democrat witnesses and Democrat operatives and these Democrat hellholes of New York, D.C., and Atlanta get to pick the next president.
So you're saying that the Supreme Court, that would mean that Trump's convicted in this court, the appellate court doesn't take it up or overturn it, it would end up likely at the Supreme Court. That's pretty depressing thought, the thought that it has to get to the Supreme Court. Real quick, about a minute or so, Mike. Georgia, the appellate division in that Georgia and Fulton County has said they will take up the case that Trump brought saying Fani Willis should not be involved in this prosecution. What does that mean for you, aside from the timing, which means it gets pushed back, but what does it mean for the actual case itself?
That case is cooked in Georgia. Big Fanny got into big trouble in Georgia. She hired her dumb, unqualified boyfriend, Nathan Wade. She paid him $700,000, $250 an hour. She paid him to meet with the Biden White House, including the Biden White House counsel, before she brought her indictment, and she took illegal kickbacks from her big, dumb boyfriend in the form of these lavish trips around the world. Big Fanny's toast.
Big Fanny is toast, folks. You heard it right there. Mike Davis, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, folks, coming up.